You see, Julius, what drives me nuts is Dave has so much better production values than I do. And it just irks me. It irks me that, because he's a true professional. And I'm an amateur. I
Well,
love his.
people watched your reel, though. There you go.
Yeah, my reels are yeah, well, I got to give you money for that too, because the reels have taken off, but I'm using too many of your credits, so I have to stop doing it. I have to.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're using my credits on there?
Credits came off. Yes, so I will reimburse you on Opus. I didn't know it was a credit based thing because I would have paid to put credits on for you. I just noticed that they had gone down, so I apologize. Live on air.
Well, yeah, just why don't you just replenish them?
It won't let me do it because it's your account.
Okay, all right, cool.
But I'll send you some money. I apologize. I didn't know that's how it worked.
No, all good, whatever helps.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, this is Husky Huddle, and of course, the coach himself, the next big thing in content creation. If you are watching, hit that subscribe button to the Coach Schuman YouTube channel. That's what we need. We need more subscribers. We're going to hit that 1 million mark anytime soon. And we also have with us a UConn legend, a defensive force, a pass rushing force. He played 5 different positions. Mr. Julius Trenches Williams. Julius, welcome to Husky Huddle.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the show. Like I said, we kind of talk about the current team and we preview the game going into the week. And we're really excited to kind of be on a roll again, and we hope that it continues. And we've been looking at the stats, and I got to watch some film, and I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this one. Because Dave and I were talking, and we started this show, I think, in late July or early August, and to think that we would be 6-3 at this time, it's just amazing.
Especially after Maryland, right?
Oh, the Maryland game! If we could just, erase that one, that was a rough one.
Well, the progress we made since then, unbelievable.
Yeah. I think they're figuring it out. And Mike Burton credits the defensive coordinator, Matt Brock. He's done a phenomenal job, despite for about a month, I think I bashed the 3-3-5 defense, but it works. And he's got it firing on all cylinders. And the new offensive play caller, who's also the offensive line coach, I think he's done a much better job. He's getting into a rhythm, and that definitely helps as well.
Is Matt Brock related to Dave Brock?
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
It's been a long time. He was coached at Delaware. Coached in. I think he coached at Rutgers. Dave Brock, I think at Wake Forest. I don't know.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Let me. I'm
curious if they're related.
Let me actually ask. I'll text Mike and ask.
Not an overly common last name. You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. I forgot the Dave Brock. He did well at Wake, I believe.
Yeah. And he went Delaware. I don't know where he is now, but.
Julius, have you been able to see games down there? I mean, I know they're on the CBS Sports Network. I was just curious if you caught highlights here and there, or seen them play.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Awesome.
I haven't had a chance to watch a full game all year, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been mostly highlights just because I coach 11-year-olds.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, so we normally play at 1:00 on Saturdays.
That's right.
It's just kind of hard to catch the guys, but love the highlights, man. Love what I've been seeing. You know, makes you proud to be a Husky again. I was always proud, you know, even with the losing years and not going so well, but it definitely, you know, puts a bigger smile on your face when you see the guys on TV when they're winning. For sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Julius. I mean, he started as a linebacker, and then he got moved to defensive end, and then he eventually got moved inside the defensive tackle.
Right,
So he was all over the place,
right.
and it's crazy because he went through three coaching changes.
Wow.
He was recruited by Randy,
Okay.
and then Coach P took over, and then Diaco took over.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
What are the differences between all those guys?
Well, I only played for Randy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was there.
Okay. I'm thinking of somebody
It
else.
was
I'm
Coach
sorry.
Epsos. I believe it was a year.
I'm thinking of Andre. Maybe.
Yeah. Drake played with those guys and
Oh,
probably
Andre played for
Jordan Talman
all
and
three
those
different.
guys.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but my last year was 08. So that
Oh,
was
Okay, that's
the
right.
international
Before
bowl.
Diaco, yeah.
Yeah, but then the next year they went to the Fiesta Bowl and played against Oklahoma. Then I think Randy left that next year. I believe.
Correct. Right, because you were there for the Meineke Car Care Bowl too.
Yep. I was there for the money. So I got there my first year there. We went to the Motor City, in Detroit, and then
Oh, that's right.
then we had those two kind of down years. We didn't go to a bowl, and then we
Right.
went to Meineke, and then we ended with international.
That's right. Because that's why I saw Tyler King comment on your interview.
Yeah, man, TK, man, that guy was an absolute animal.
He's
Man.
he's a little bit of a lunatic, right?
Yeah, he's one of those guys, man. It's like when TK was there, man, he was highly respected. You know, he was one of those guys when guys saw him coming.
He had the war paint on.
Yeah, he meant business. He and him, guys like Deion Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, like he was like in that realm of of guys that didn't really say a lot, but they meant big business. When they were around.
Okay. So you were there with Orlovsky for his last year.
Yeah,
and then DJ took over right after that.
Yeah. So there was Orlovsky, and then we had Bones.
Matt Bonizowski, right?
Yeah. And then Bones and DJ, they kind of battled it out, before Tyler came in.
Right. Tyler Lorenzen, right?
Yeah. T-Lo. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like Tyler Lorenzen. I thought he was just tough, and he ran hard, and they knew what he could do, and they ran the ball and play action pass, and man, he wasn't afraid to pull the ball down and run, and he was a big dude.
Yeah, man. Funny story about T-Lo, man. I mean, I don't want to mean to hawk the show. I know you got other stuff you want to talk about. But he and I went to Jacksonville Jaguars together. We went down in 09.
Oh, right, because they tried to make him a tight end, didn't they?
Yeah, man. So we're both free agents, rookie free agents. We're both trying to make the team. He gets moved from quarterback to tight end. So, I'm so caught up in, trying to make the team and doing everything I can to make that 53-man roster.
And you look across.
One day we're in team. I look up the tight end's T-Lo.
You look across and you see him.
And I felt so bad, man, because I had to do him bad.
Julius, it's business. I love you, but it's business. I get it.
So I'm not. And then the funny part is, he wasn't there very long after that, so I never really got a chance to talk to him. But he ended up. So he got a ring that year with the Saints. So that was
wow.
pretty cool for him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Dave, I was looking at UAB, and they're coming off this big win against Tulsa. Was it Tulsa or Tulane? Tulsa. Okay. And so they had started a quarterback, Jalen Kitna had started the first 4 games.
Jalen Kitna, is that John Kitna's son?
Kind of looks like it.
I believe so. I believe he is.
Yeah, yeah. And he struggled. And no, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Jacob Zeno was the starter.
Jacob Zeno.
Yeah, he was the starter going into the season.
Actually, he's a pretty good player, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he struggled. They did not put up a lot of points offensively, and then they got beat by Alcorn State, 41-3. And then they made the move and they went to Jalen Kitna, who was, I mean, he played not great, but he played better against USF. He threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. And then against Tulsa, he goes 25 for 32, 404, 404 yards, 78% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns. So, I mean, he's got to be one hell of a passer because the last 2 games combined, he threw for 404 against Tulsa, and then USF he threw for 384.
He must be good because Zeno last year threw for like 20 touchdowns, 3,000 yards. That's what.
He did.
He was a transfer from Baylor who got beat out.
Yes.
He's been in college for like 9,000 years.
Oh my God, you're right. Yes, this is his 7th year.
Right. So like he's a guy that was supposed to be pretty good. That's what I'm saying. So this is pretty good. I mean,
he was a Texas kid too. Wow. And UAB,
I knew the name because he threw for a lot of yards last year, even though the team wasn't that good. But they threw for a lot of yards, so I don't know.
He threw for 3,000 plus yards last year, 20 touchdowns. Yeah, he had a really good year.
Yeah.
And then he definitely struggled.
So they took him out and put Kitna in. Kitna must be good.
Yeah, Kitna must be good. And he's a junior, so he's been in the program for a while. I'm trying to think. UAB, the program was gone for, was it 1 year, and then they came back? I think it was one year, maybe 2, and then they came back and funded it. And because they were doing really well before
they were at one point, yes.
The program shut down.
They gave themselves the death penalty.
They did. They gave themselves a death penalty.
UConn did that. Listen, UConn did that 2020. Look how long it took to get back.
Yeah. UConn. Yeah, you're right. And you know what's funny is that was Coach Edsel like requested that, like he wanted that.
Oh, he did. Oh, really?
Yes, he did not want to play in 2020. He wanted to use it as a developmental year to get his kids better, and they just pretty much practiced that entire fall. And then then 2020.
That's not any fun.
No. Then 2021 comes around and they lose the Sacred Heart. They lose the Holy Cross the first game, and that's
I'd have been out of there if I was on that team.
That was all she wrote.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys.
I'd been out.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest turnover, of guys. Like a lot of guys did leave that year.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, listen, football's a great game, okay, but no no football player in the whole entire universe wants to just practice without a game.
Yeah, we were one of the few FBS programs that didn't play.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're 100%
guys,
right.
Would you rather lose every game and go 0-12 or miss the entire season and develop? I don't kind of thinking about that. It's kind of a rough choices.
I think that's kind of what Randy was worried about. Like he was thinking the same thing. Like, should we play and lose every game, or would it be better to try to develop?
And not to say that they were going to lose every game. I mean, Coach Epsil's a great coach, man. Great guy, one of the best guys I've ever met. But when you got to think about it like that, when you pretty much see things, going into shambles, you got to make business decisions,
No, you do, and I know, because we had him on the podcast. He was just mainly frustrated because he didn't get the funding that allegedly he was promised for like his coaching staff and everything. And he brought in the offensive coordinator from Auburn and got away from kind of what made them successful when his first run, which was, like I said, they ran the football, they played field position, tough defense, don't turn the ball over, and those were his principles. That's what he lived and died with. And he tried to go to the spread, and I always believed that it wouldn't work at Rentschler Field because of the weather, because of the wind and the conditions when you get to October and November. And then Joe D quickly put me in my place and asked me, Steve, who was the quarterback of the New England Patriots? Could they throw the ball in October, November, December? I'm like, Tom Brady. Yeah, he was there. Yeah, they threw the ball just fine. Okay. Joe D loves to put me in my place. I love it. But they, we're see what's crazy. We're 6.5 point favorites. We're 6.5 point favorites.
Disrespectful, man.
And I believe we've covered. We covered last week. We didn't cover 2 weeks ago, but I think getting to 7-3. I don't know what happened last week with UAB and, how they turned it on, or if they completely overhauled who they were playing. But that was a big win, and that could be the start. I mean, they got a good rushing attack too. Their leading rusher, Lee Beebe Jr., is averaging 5 yards a carry. He's got 485 yards on 102 carries. So, I mean, they got him who's doing well, and their receivers, Cam Shanks, 41 catches, 486 yards, 11 yards a catch. He's got wow. And they got Amari Thomas, who has 42 catches, 454 yards, and he's got 8 touchdowns. So their passing game is much better than ours. Our passing game is far behind what they're doing. I mean, they got 2,000 something yards passing. We got 1,843. Mike Burton does not know if they're related, so I will check into that. But Julius, it's always tough. We brought in, we looked at it between the freshmen and the transfers. We had 60 new players, so I think it took a little while for them to gel. And the running game we have is solid. It's just the quarterback position. I just would love to see Nick Evers, have a coming out party.
Right.
He's the guy they brought in from Wisconsin, and I realize this is only his 6th game playing, but he threw for 75 yards last week, And I want him to have a great game this week, and then that will lead into Syracuse, which I think is totally winnable. I think talent wise, we have the talent to win.
For sure.
Dave, don't you think talent wise we can match up with them? It's just the quarterback position. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the Syracuse quarterback, other than when he played against Pitt, when he threw like 6 picks.
Yeah, for touchdowns.
You know, he was a starting quarterback at Ohio State last year, and he's had been rolling. But although he struggled again, I think a little bit last week, you know, a little bit like what we talked about.
Against Virginia Tech, yes.
Once you kind of figure out what you could stop him on, people have been doubling down on that. So I think that gives us a good chance. You know, if we take care of business this week, it's good to go against a team that throws the ball like UAB does.
Yeah.
To prepare us for the Syracuse game. So we'll get to see, you know, someone who's really throwing the ball around a lot, has a good passer, and hopefully we're able to handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Julius, did they move you around as when you were at defensive end? Did they move you around to try to get you like the best matchups on the edge when you were a pass rusher? Because I know you had the year you had 15 sacks or
not really, man. I played mainly when I was at end. I played the field end.
You were at the field, okay.
Yeah, and on the other side we had Cody Brown. So Cody Brown ended up being a 2nd round draft pick. You know, he was awesome pass rusher. So and we also had Lindsey Witten. You know, who was an awesome pass rusher. And then we had a few young guys. We had, you know, that can come in and you know, Marcus and, you know, and Mike Cox, a couple guys, the guys that can play ball. So we didn't really exploit guys. I think, if anything, I moved inside to be a mismatch on guards, you know. But that was just kind of a, you know, thing. Coach Epps recruited a lot of athletes. You know, he recruited a lot of guys, you know, that were, you know, linebackers got moved to DN got moved to D tackle. So he wanted to put, you know, speed on the field, you know, a lot. You know, especially those Big East days, we had Pat White and, you know, all types of guys that we were chasing around. You know, I wanted to have a fast front for sure. But nah, man, I was looking at UAB, man. UAB definitely has athletes. I mean, I'm from Georgia, you know.
Right.
So, you know,
so you know the landscape,
yeah. UAB. They got a pretty good. Everett Rousseau is a hell of a linebacker.
Okay.
You know, he comes from a school, Cedar Grove High School, that's local here.
In
Georgia,
I see that.
actually, where I'm from, Decatur. He's a big time player. The UAB, I mean, they have athletes. Traditionally, they've always had, you know, good athletes. I trained a guy that got drafted, you know, by Jacksonville, a guy named Jordan Smith. 6'6", 250 defensive end. But you know, that Roddy White, you know, who was a Falcon great for a long time. He came from UAB.
Right.
So, you know, traditionally they have athletes, man, and those guys are gonna play hard. You know, so you definitely can't, you know, look past those guys, especially if they're having a down year. But I definitely think if we go in and, you know, and do what we need to do, man. I wanted to go to the game. It sucks, man. I got a game we're in the playoffs. We play at 1:00 with my 11-year-olds on Saturday. But yeah, man, they should definitely walk in there and, you know, and get a good win and be very confident, you know, going into Syracuse, you know.
You coach the 11 and under, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that considered, because I know it's not in New Jersey, is it considered Pop Warner football or is it called something else?
So we don't really call it Pop Warner here.
Okay.
It's just mainly coined as youth football.
Youth football, you know? Okay.
But no, but it's pretty good. It's pretty competitive, man. You know, you got all these parents who, you know, they believe that their son is Emmitt Smith, you know, and Troy Aikman, you know, you know. So,
especially in the South, man. Especially in the South.
Yeah, man.
Dave had some great experiences with the parents when Dave was the head coach of his son's team as well. So he had to experience
9U,
it.
9U. We're 9U. So,
But did they have the same kind of requirements? Like Dave said, they had to play 12 plays minimum. Everyone.
Yeah, so they have leagues like that.
Yeah,
The league that we're in is not like that.
because
I
it's
go
the
one.
South.
Yeah, man, I love the
that's
kids,
awesome.
man, but I don't. I like to play competitive football. I
Yes.
like to coach competitive
Yes.
football, man. There's
Yes.
leagues, that's the biggest complaint we get, man, is parents, hey, my child isn't getting any playing time, but hey, on our team, playing time is earned, just like it's going to be in high school,
Yep.
it's like it's going to be in college.
That's my
Dave,
philosophy.
do you think that I'm just curious, Dave? Do you think if you did not have that rule, you would have won the playoff game and advanced?
Oh, we were the best team. I mean, I firmly believe that. Yeah, we now I don't know when you go down to like the when you go play like the East Coast champion, but in New Jersey, short of it's not like I said, it's not the kids' fault. It's just how the league rules are. But I mean,
Yeah,
our first 15, 16 kids, nobody can touch them. Nobody.
unbelievable.
But we have to
Unbelievable.
rotate it.
Yeah.
So, but I this season, the off season, I have everybody going to a trainer.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting those kids that are at the that need the help. They're gonna get the help.
Sorry, Kelly.
We
Dog
getting
here.
that help, man. We getting the help.
That's all right. Dave's got a dog too. Dave's got a dog too.
Oh yeah.
But I was looking at their stats, and they do give up quite a few yards rushing. So that's the one area where I think we will definitely be able to exploit. I mean, they're giving up like something like 200 yards or 185 yards a game rushing. Um, if we get Darrell Robinson or Cam Edwards, or last week it was Mel Brown, any of them going, I think that's where you'll see the difference, because our rushing attack has been so powerful. I mean, we have 1,800 yards total rushing with three backs, and Evers is right around 200 yards himself. So he's at least pulling it down and running more. He's doing a little bit more in the zone read game, and not afraid to pull it and taking what he can get and protecting himself. The only thing the only thing that I have seen that I don't like is he's taken sacks. He's taken 7 sacks on the year. He'll tend to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And there's still the camp that will be in that believes that Joe Figliano gives us the best chance to win. But I think with the offense that they're running, I do think Nick is the guy. He just has to unleash it. He just has to let it go. And once he does that, the rest will be history.
Right. It kind of reminds me of the team we had, honestly, watching these
Yeah.
guys. When I was there, we were never, I mean, outside of the years with Darren Orlowski, Dan was a gunslinger. You know,
Yes.
he could throw the ball all over the field, make all the throws. But I think when he left and the guys we had, they were good quarterbacks, but just not that type, you know.
Yeah.
So it was more of a TOP, you know, run the ball, make good decisions, play smart football, not really just dropping back, just letting it go every play. But
Yeah.
having great running backs, UConn has always had great running backs. I even think in the down years we still had really, really good running backs. We've always been able to recruit, great running backs for some reason. Even back in the years when T. Rich was there. So I think as long as they can
T.
come out,
Rich.
yeah,
Yeah.
play, UConn football, man. I love Cam Edwards. Big strong back.
I do too.
The
Just
young
feed
guy.
him.
Robinson, he's coming along. So as long as we can do that, man, I believe we can compete with anybody we're going to play this year.
Yeah, yeah. Robinson was a transfer, and I think he's worth his weight in gold. Watching him run his long of 68, I saw that in person. The only thing that bothers me, um, Julius, their main play running the ball, their base is kind of like outside zone. They use two backs and they run outside zone out of the shotgun, which I think, and you as a coach, I think it's very difficult to execute out of the gun. It takes longer. The running back actually has to turn perpendicular and run, and then the line's got to get everything reached, and the back's got to stick a foot and get north because they usually don't get the edge. It ends up cutting at some point. So last week they went more to the pistol formation. Now I don't love the pistol either, but they ran more true like inside zone. And the backs like Mel Brown, Cam Edwards, they get north and south, and they get north and south fast. They get downhill and they make people miss. And up front, off our offensive line, we're healthier. I think we are only missing one starter now. The other guy's back, the guard. So the tackles have been playing well. It was the one guard that was struggling, and he is the starter will now be back. And I think if they continue to build off of it, and like Dave said, having the compliments and the tendency breakers, that will make the difference in having them score more points and be efficient, especially with Nick. The play action, and Dave mentioned like moving the pocket. That could be the easy way to get some points. And honestly, they really haven't done any trick plays, any gadgets. You can always sneak a gadget in there, get an easy one.
I love that, man. I think they should. I mean, everybody should have a couple of gadgets in their arsenal just to be able.
Yeah.
It's stealing, especially if it's something like the way they run the ball so well, especially against a team like this. You keep hitting it downhill on them, and you run some sort of gadget, a reverse,
Yeah.
orbit motion, flip it, and he goes the other way. I mean, I think you're going to be able to do a bunch of different stuff from that standpoint if they want to, but they may just be able to. I think this game is a trap game for UConn because this team could score.
Yeah.
But their defense is not stinks. I mean, UAB's defense stinks, right?
Yes.
Their front seven is not great against the run,
No.
and you're going to be able to push them down the field. But the danger is we may drive down the field, control the ball, score, and they may be able to go up top and score. Like you may, if we don't shut them down, you could end up being in like a shootout with a team
Which you don't want, right?
You really don't want because then anything can happen. You know what I mean? So, but I think physically, like we should be more dominant than they are up front.
Yeah. I think we should knock them around. And like I said, I think outside zone, if they use that, they might as well throw, a pass off of it. Hand it off, let the back throw pass. That was always a good red zone play for us. The halfback option pass. We would do that. I don't think they do enough screens. I think they have the talent to run more in the screen game, which I would like to see. And Skylar Bell is just such a difference maker. He's a guy, like, I'd love to just see him and give it to him on a jet sweep. Give him the ball in space. They ran my favorite formation, which is trips with a tight end backside. And they got a lot of 2/3 to the trips. So anytime you get that, that's when you just throw it would be a direct pass to number 2 usually, or you can run the bubble to number 1. And that's what I would like to see them do some more of. because they did try to mix in some tempo, and that obviously made a difference. But like sudden change, Dave and Coach Julius, sudden change. You get an interception, and you get the ball on the 50-yard line or the -40. Sudden change was always where I would like to take a shot. I would always like to take a shot. You have the momentum. That would be the time where I would take a deep shot. I would, run a hardball play action and throw the ball deep. And that's the one thing that Nick does very well. He throws a very pretty fade ball. So I'd like to see something like that off of the sudden change. And I'd like to see the passing game evolve more, like Dave said, moving the pocket, get him on the move, sprint out, doing a little bit of that. And, they finally they ran a couple nakeds last week out of the pistol, which worked well for them. They scored a touchdown on one, and the other two they executed well and got some good yardage. So I think offensively, and then Julius, whenever I watch him on defense, man, they play with so much intensity and so much fire. And the linebacker, Jaden McDonald, that kid is phenomenal. He is all over the field.
He flies around.
I mean, in the run game, he steps up. He comes off blocks. He blows people up. He makes plays everywhere. He gets interceptions. He gets sacks. I mean, he does it all, and he's definitely been a difference maker. And I think he's also a key defensively for what they've been doing, because the 3-3-5 is tough. And then the other linebacker, the Brown, he has 76 tackles, 2 sacks, and he's their leading tackler. It's him and Jaden McDonald, and Malik Dixon Williams, who is their good defensive back that really have all been putting it together. But I think what Mike Burton said, it starts with Coach Brock and that defensive coaching staff that has them playing on a different level, because I think they believe in the system. And once you have that momentum and you believe and you have that confidence going in, you play with a little bit of swagger, right, Julius? When you go into a game, you got a little swagger.
No,
You know you're going to beat your guy. Hey, it's going to be a long day for you.
Right,
you let them know. You let them know it's coming. And especially you, like, you were undersized at 256, 260. I mean, having to play inside, even as a defensive end. I mean, I know you were built like a brick shit house, but still, I mean, you were a tough matchup for anyone you went up against.
No, for sure, man. I mean, you got to have that, that attitude, man. I mean, that's, you know, in college football, to being a defender, whether you're a DB or a linebacker or a defensive lineman, man, you got to have that mentality. I was blessed to play on some very good defenses. I believe when I was at UConn, 2 of our years we were top 10 in
Yeah,
defense.
you were.
So just being around guys, you got guys like Darius Butler, Tyvon Branch, Danny Lansana, Cody Brown, it started with guys like Alfred Fincher, Mo Lloyd, man. So it was always, we just preached, defense, man, and ran into the ball. And I love to see the guys I follow, a few of the guys online, Delmont, and um, and all these the D tackles and
Yeah.
defensive lineman, period, man. So just love to see those guys running around having fun, man. And that's what it's about, man. A team like UAB, we got to just go in and and put the pedal to the floor, man, and just go. You know what I mean? I don't think we should be too cute, on offense. I mean, I'm a big fan of running the ball and RPOs, run pass options in the pass, and
Oh,
just
okay.
move the ball, man. As long as we move the ball and if the offense moves the ball, it's going to give the defense confidence, to come out there and get stops, man. So as long as we can work together, I think we should, have a great game, man, and get those guys out of there early.
Do you did you run RPOs at with the 11-year-olds? Have you tried it?
Yeah, so I'm the head coach. I'm
I
not
know
one
you're
of
the head
those,
guy. Yeah.
micromanaging head coaches. I kind of let our offensive coordinator is Anthony Smith. So he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
that's right. You
yeah.
told me
So
that.
yeah, so we're
Yeah.
getting ready. I mean, he went to Syracuse, so I'm getting
Yeah.
talk a lot of trash next week. I got a good friend of mine, Jermaine McElveen, went to UAB, so I got 2 great weeks of UConn football to talk a lot of trash to my guys. But no, but most of our passes that we do run at the 11-year-old level are, we give them the option, to run. So a lot of it is, boots and rollouts and things like that. We tell our quarterback, hey man, if it's not open, get what you can on the ground for sure. Positive.
Do you call the plays actually too, or do you let your
I let the
OC do it?
offensive coordinator. I let Ant call the plays. I run the defense.
Okay.
I definitely run the defense, and so I'm a heavy blitz guy. You know what I mean? But
You bring it.
yeah, we're coming every play. Every play we're sending somebody. But we have lots of fun, man, and that's what the game is to me, man. As long as you can assure the guys that having fun, whether it's youth level, high school, or college, or even pro, man, it's
They
probably
got
going
to
to
have
be
a
a good
great
game.
experience. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's got to, at that level, you're teaching them the fundamentals. You're teaching them the basics. You're teaching them the technique. And there's no one better because you have such a great personality and a mindset and you're fun. And I'm sure the kids love you because you come to practice with a smile on your face
Not for sure.
and you make it fun for them. And it's so like I coached at Holy Cross, and I always struggled when I had the younger kids. When I had the 8, 9, 10, 11 year olds, I had no patience.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't make it. I didn't know how to make it fun because
Right.
I'm coaching the line and I'm trying to teach them how to get into a stance, and they don't listen, or the one of them wants to sit on the ground, or the one of them takes his helmet off. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? So I give you all the credit in the world. I don't know that I could handle coaching that level like you and Dave do with the 9-year-olds and the 11-year-olds, and Dave especially because the jersey is so tough and the parents. I don't know how to manage it. I can see, I mean, managing it because you're like, hey, we're going to win. I'm playing, the best guys are going to play. We're going to win. And will you have the opportunity to go all the way and like, is there a state championship for your level?
Yeah, so we're in the playoffs this
Yeah.
weekend actually. And then if we win this weekend, we'll play in our league championship, our league Super Bowl. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
excited for the opportunity, man. And I mean, I think mainly, man, it just comes with laying law down when you start because it's not the kids. The kids love it. It's the parents, man. I heard Gino Oriema say a long time ago, man. He recruits parents, and even at the youth level, I recruit parents, man, because you got people who they don't believe they believe their players great. He doesn't have to come to practice, and when he does come to practice, he can get there late and so normally it's all about the buy-in. Like you get the kids that parents, buy in.
Yeah.
Normally the kids that do better, and the kids that parents believe that, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread before they even really touch a football. Those are the ones you gotta worry about.
Dave, what about you with the parents? I mean, did you have to have a lot of interaction with them and kind of get the parents to buy in before they started playing for you?
Well, they're bought in. Where I'm at, they're bought in. Pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of times it's a little different than maybe in the South where you have a lot more opportunity to have guys that are the level of Julius coaching you. You know what I mean? Where you have a litany of guys that have played some high level of football. New Jersey, it's not always the case from that standpoint. So I'm me and one of the guys I brought on this year, are the only people that played at the college level, and I'm only one that played Division I level. So that part is kind of there from the get-go. The hard part is what Julius said is really like, okay, playing time and how many times, like I have to tell them, I tell the parents this all the time. I said, see how many footballs there are right here? They say, yeah. I said, one. There's one football, okay? And it can only go to one person at a time on a play, unless we're doing a double pass or something like that, But it's going to one person at a time, right? So, and I said, and when the ball goes when the quarterback's throwing, because my son's the quarterback, I said, when the quarterback's throwing, you don't know where that ball is going to go. He chooses who he's putting it to. You know what I mean? So, there's no guarantee. And how quarterbacks are, they're going to throw it to the guy who they believe is going to catch the ball and make them look good, right? So, that's always what they're going to do. I mean, the smart ones at least do.
Right.
So, but my parents are pretty good with it. Like, for the most part, they're pretty good. The hardest thing I have, which Julius doesn't have, is I have to actually talk kind of to the parents of the kids that are not as good. Like, you got to go and take your kid and work with them outside of practice, because we don't have time to do it. And some of the basics you see us doing, you got to go and take them aside, because our thing is different than Julius in the sense that the last thing you want to happen, which has happened to us, okay, is that you don't want kids that are the better kids, parents, not the kids. All the kids get along. You know what I mean? They honestly, the truth is, like, I found, like, my kids are really nice to the kids that are not as good. You know what I'm saying? They're really good about, like, we don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. But from a parent standpoint, I want a parent of a kid who's really good getting upset with a parent of a kid who's not as good because they can't hold their own and we're forced to play people. Now, my parents have been great about it for the most part. But I say, hey, listen, if your kid is a minimum play kid, your job as a parent is to make sure he's at a certain level. So when he goes in, he can hold his own. All we're asking him to do is hold his own. We don't want the quarterback back or the defense being Swiss cheese because he goes in. If he can hold his own for his plays, that's all we're asking for. But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky for the most part. I've really been lucky. There's a certain amount of respect, just like probably Julius has and what he has with his Coach Smith. Like, he played at a high level. Unless you're doing something crazy and you're disrespecting the kids or something like that, the parents are going to respect what you've done. They want to go where you've been. They want their kid to go where you've been.
Exactly.
And, that's something that, because for the most part, my experience is, 99 I would say even higher than that, probably 98, 99 out of 100 parents didn't play at the next level. So,
no.
No.
But like how many kids total did you have on the roster?
Me or Julie? Me?
You, yeah.
I had 27.
Okay.
It's a high amount for
that's a high amount.
Yeah, because in the youth, you probably, like, if you have 22 good players is probably a lot. If you're at 20, that's probably a sweet spot number, because you can get kids rest and stuff like that. If some kid's not there because he's sick for a game or something, you're okay. But when you start to get to like 27, 28, 30, it's a lot of kids to rotate in.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, out of those kids, how many were difficult to get reps for? Like, you worried about putting them in the game?
Oh, there's definitely 7 or 8 kids.
Oh, Jesus, 7 or 8 kids that, like,
now if they all come back, it'd probably be down to 3 or 4. Like, there were some kids that had potential, but it was their first year. I'm at 9U, first year playing, right? So even though they might have potential, it took them the whole year to get up to speed.
Right.
But there's still probably 3 or 4 that it may take them another year or 2 to get there. So you know how football is. Listen, it's like until. It doesn't mean that kids aren't going to get there. Like, you have plenty of kids that guys that become pros don't play until they're in 9th grade. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you have plenty of those kind of guys. But they're kids that are lower athletic ability level and lower natural physicality. It takes those kids time. Like sometimes what I get, which by the way, I'm envious of Julius for this reason, that like he's able to do that. But with mine, sometimes the parent might have played high school football and they want their kid's not there yet, but they want their kid to do it in the hopes that eventually he gets there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I always say genetics are a funny thing. Who you marry, I'm saying, kind of dictates a little bit what level of athletic ability
it does.
is going to come out. So you may have had the athletic ability, but you go marry someone beautiful, but she doesn't have any athletic ability.
Yeah, you're kind of caught.
Pay, you know what I'm saying? So,
Decisions.
But Julius, like
right,
I remember,
that's right.
You said you played varsity at 8th grade, right?
Well, 9th grade.
9th grade,
So
yeah.
I got to high school in 8th grade. We
Yes.
started high school. Was that? So excuse me, I guess some guys are calling me. But so we played. We still played against middle school teams in 8th grade. But once I got to 9th grade, I played JV for a game, and it just wasn't competitive.
Yeah.
They moved me up to varsity.
And you were playing linebacker.
Well, I played defensive end.
Yeah, okay, you were then. Okay.
Yeah, defensive end and tight end. Yeah,
I got you. Okay. That's because I mean, I played varsity as a sophomore, and that was a big deal. So I can't imagine playing up that young. That's tough. And will you continue to coach next year at 12 years old?
So
Or is it 11 and 12?
Most of our guys, they're going to play middle school.
That's right. Okay.
So 11. So if right now we got most of our guys are in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
So they're kind of young for their middle school team right now. So they're just not getting much playing time in middle school. We have some 7th graders as well that have late birthdays, that didn't turn 12 until, after August the 1st. But
that's right.
We'll lose a lot of guys next year. So next year I'm probably going to be more just on the board with the park. I got a son, he's 5. I'm gonna,
God bless you.
Yeah, man. Let him start playing next year. I'm not gonna coach him. I'm just not gonna. It's
that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, man. Guys say they won't play dad ball, but that's hard. Trust me, I know way too many guys that coach their sons that it's hard. It's a hard place to be. Being a fair coach and having your son on the team. So I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, man. But it's definitely fun, man. It's fun watching the kids grow. I believe wholeheartedly in what Dave said earlier. You gotta, the big thing is encouraging guys that are not, at the level of the, your quote unquote stars, to go and get that extra work because even though, I did play football, at the college level, at the pro level, you don't have the time at practice to really, especially during the season. Like if you got guys that are
you don't get the reps. Yeah,
you got guys that are coming in May and coming in April, and you can groom those guys, and you can have practices without a football, and especially with O linemen and D linemen, and teaching guys techniques. But the guys that show up in August, which are most guys, because these days kids are playing baseball, basketball, track. They haven't quite figured it out yet. So you got to get a lot of late guys, and those are the most of the complainers. The guys that come late and they expect to be starters, and they don't get any playing time. Then their parents start raising hell and getting into it with the kids that are, the stars. But you're never going to satisfy.
Yeah, you're not going to please everyone.
Like I got a kid on our team. His dad's a coach, and he's 75% of the offense, and he still doesn't believe he get the ball enough. So, it's kind of those. But it's fun, man. It's definitely a blessing to be able to be in those kids' life like that, man. It goes a long way.
But Dave, you did a good job with that because you always said that once practice was over, you get in the car, there's no football talk. You're talking about school, you're talking about everything else besides, football. You know how to separate the team from
I've
your
gotten
son,
better at that.
from being
As
a
a parent,
father.
as a parent with my own kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten much better with that. Like, uh, what I learned to realize is like if you have something to say about like I don't know, my whole thing is always like effort. Like
Yes.
like I can go work with him on technique or something like that the next day, or I really don't, or take him to somebody to do that, right? But my whole thing is effort and practice. Like if I see um extensive. They're young kids, so when they go get their water break, they fool around for a couple seconds. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it's time to come back to go to work, you got to go to work. The effort you put into it is what you can expect the results to be. So those are my big things. But on the ride home, man, like, dude, my favorite thing is me and my son have this thing about convenience stores. Like I always love convenience stores. Like I like going
Yeah.
to the convenience store, getting a drink after practice or a camp. You know what I mean? That's my first stop is go to a convenience store or a gas station. You know what I mean? So that's my first thing my son loves to do. As soon as we get out of there, I don't know if it's a good habit or a bad habit, but I'm like, he's like, oh, we gonna which convenience store are we gonna go to? I'm like, okay, we're gonna go over here today. And he knows the names of all the convenience stores now in the area between Wawa, 7-Eleven,
Oh,
like
I love Wawa.
the local ones. Like we like the local one, the ones that
Jealous.
like are the chains. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they got like certain drinks that so like that's we come in and that's first he's like, oh, where are we going? So that to me is the fun part about sports. It's like is that part of it. But I try not to say too much after practice other than how do you think it went? Did you get think you did give good effort? Great. No, we're done. Like if I saw something technique wise, when we go out to do something, me and him, I'll fix that.
Right. And do you see yourself, would you coach as he gets older, 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old? Do you think you'll continue to stick with him or no?
Youth probably, yes. But
Yes.
like obviously I coached high school for a long
Yes.
time.
Yes.
So
State champion.
I'm hoping there's I'm able to get him to a place with a guy that I think is great, and then that would be great. Like there won't be anything more. My thing with coaches is what I've noticed just coaching youth football and a lot of sports with him, and being around a lot of high school coaches. Like I think you have to try to put your kid with people that fit with him. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's an important thing. Like it's not that someone else's coach isn't good or bad. It's what's a good fit for him. And that's a thing that like to me, it's my job as a parent to investigate what guys are the right guys for him, not to complain after he's out of place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's if I put him out of place and it's the wrong fit for him, that's my fault as a parent for doing that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I want to make sure he's with someone that's a good fit for him. Like me personally, like when I'm not coaching him, I like someone that's tough on him, that teaches him about effort. You know what I mean? And then after the game is like, hey man, you know, we got to work on this, and this. And by the way, I love you guys, and I appreciate you. Like those are the kind of guys that I like. Like I like guys that are tough on them, demanding, but also care about the kids and knows how to handle that part of it. Sometimes there are, listen, I'm a coach. Like I've been around guys that just don't have they might even win games, but they don't have a feel for how to treat kids the right way.
No.
Exactly.
No.
There's some bad guys out here for sure.
Yeah.
No, it drives me nuts. That
In
drives
the
me
old days
nuts.
when we grew up, you were taught like whatever coach says, you just follow it, right? You just follow what coach, and the coach could be horrible, when but you're following it. The one nice thing about now is as a parent, you're able to say, you know what? Oh, this coaching style, like I could go watch these guys coach. I could go watch their games. You know what I mean? I could go watch the local high school coach their kids, and oh, well, this kid would be a good fit for my kid. Or maybe that guy's not a great fit for my kid. And I always say it has nothing to do with that guy. Everybody has their own style, their own offense, their own defense, whatever they run. That's them. You know what I mean? It's not that they're bad or good per se. It's styles. What styles work, right? Like just like in when you play in college, right? Like this coach is a good fit for you style wise. This guy isn't, right? Like and when I was at UConn initially, when I played for Tom Jackson and I was in the running back room, that running back coach was great for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skip Holtz got hired, and they had a new running back coach, and I wasn't in favor. That guy wasn't right for me. Moved me over to linebacker. Vernon Hargraves was a great fit for me.
He was the best. Yeah.
Great fit for me. I played great for him. You know what I mean? So it's so those things, are important. But I always say that the biggest thing is you can coach my kid tough. Be fair. I'm not talking about playing time. Be fair to them as far as personally, and because playing time is not always going to be equal. And then after, no matter what everybody's playing time is, we hug it up.
And move on.
Kids are great kids, and we'll see you next on practice on Monday. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's look at the game and let's go into our predictions for the UAB UConn game. It's at 2:30, and it's going to be on ESPN Plus. UConn is -6.5 or -7, depending on who you go with. And the over-under is 55.5. So we will start with our guest, Julius. Julius Trenches, what do you got for us? What's your prediction for this?
21-10. UConn.
Oh, you think it's gonna be low scoring? 21-10.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fight, man. For me, I would love to see UConn just come out and just run the ball and just take, and really just show them early that we're going to win the trench battle. Second half, I don't really care, what they do on offense, but first half, I definitely want to come out and get those running backs going, man, and let those guys pound it, and win the physical battle. I think this is going to be that type of game that we have to show these guys early that we're the more physical team.
Yeah, and that's been our problem the whole year. We've always started slow, and we've been a second half team. We've made second half adjustments and done much better in the second half. Last week was the first time we scored a good amount of points in the first half. So I agree with you. I think a fast start is truly, truly necessary. If they can do that, and they're not playing from behind. They can rely on the running game and keep it going, keep it strong. The only thing I get worried about is sometimes if they get down even by 7 or 10, they'll try to abandon the running game a little bit, and I don't think they should. I think that's something you can't give up on because you got to keep pounding it, and eventually it'll break through. Right. And they gave up that touchdown late last week. It should not have been as close. I am gonna go. I'm probably gonna go with 35-21. I'll go 35-21 UConn.
I think my question is this: is how fast are the UAB receivers really? And if they are,
they got good receivers.
They seem like they're fast. If they are fast, that's
a matchup.
Like all year long. That's the thing that I thought could be. If there's any weakness in the defense, if someone has pure speed guys on the outside, that's where we've struggled a little bit. So I think that the guy's going to throw at the ball a million times. I mean, so Kinder's going to throw it a million times. I think UConn, just looking at Army, what Army did, Navy did running wise, not Tulsa, Tulane did running wise. If we stick to the running game, before I give my prediction, Steve, do you think they'll stick to the run game the way they should?
No, I don't. If they get down, no, they won't. No, if they get down early, I think that he tends to kind of abandon the run. Yeah, and he'll try to throw. And because the game that Evers attempted 42 passes, that he can't do that. He's not built for that. They got to keep him, I think, within 25 to 30 passes max. If they're able to do that, I think they'll be fine. And they keep a balanced attack with the running game and the passing game, which hasn't happened. They haven't been able to keep up with the passing game. They've been out rushing guys, 200 yards a game. So I'd like to see Evers throw for 200 yards.
So I think if they stick with the running game, and they don't get nervous when they kind of get a little bit of back, if you get a little bit of back and forth, meaning we score, they score type of thing.
Yeah.
If we will just stay to the running game, I think we can score 42 points. But I think that
I agree.
Yeah, I think that they will score, though. I think they're going to score.
Well, you're right. You're right, because like I said, when we blitz and we play man with it, which a lot of teams don't. A lot of teams play zone behind the blitz. We blitz and play man, and that's very, very difficult. You got to disrupt the timing and hold them up long enough so the blitz can get there. But if we're not able to do that and they get the separation, then yes, they're gonna have a great day passing.
I'm gonna say 42-28. I'll go with the over on this.
42-28 in the over. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
We're going to run the ball really well. My hope is that score doesn't flip because we get in a little back and forth and we start trying to
the shootout. Yeah.
For no reason, I think we have to be patient because Kenda does throw the ball a lot. A lot. So they'll throw 60 passes if they have to.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. And they have the two good receivers who, the one has 8 touchdowns, the other has 6 touchdowns. I mean, they're throwing the ball well and successfully. So I totally agree with you. But I think as long as it's not 1,000,000 degrees down there, I hope it's not too hot. And I think with the weather, that will help Nick in the passing game. So we should be more efficient. And I'd love to see him have, 60% completion percentage. I'd love to see him throw for 225 yards and a touchdown. And if he can execute the offense and not turn it over, not take sacks, do that, the running game will take care of itself. Our defense, if they, I don't love all the blitzing and playing man behind it. I think if they're able to get pressure with 4 guys and maybe 5, that will make a big difference as well. If they can drop 8 in the coverage at certain moments, even 7, I think that will help. But I do think they will win. I do think they will cover, and I do think this could be the momentum game leading us into Syracuse.
Yeah.
So that's.
I just don't. I don't know, guys. For me, I just feel like we're so much better than Alcorn State. You know what I mean?
We are.
And they scored 3 points on Alcorn. I don't think they're going to be able to score.
We are. It's just about the quarterback. If Kitna goes off and we're pressuring him and he beats the blitz, then it could be a shootout or it could be a longer game. If our defense is able to get to them and they have given up sacks, then I think we'll be fine.
This could be a game where they don't score at all because we get after them. he caused turnovers real quick.
Yes.
It's like, like the FAU and FIU game. Like it could be, like I thought those games
Buffalo and FAU,
over. Yeah, and they weren't. They blew them out. So it's I just don't know enough about, like, I obviously haven't watched a ton of UAB film, so each and every game, but you're looking at the stats and stuff.
I just saw the Tulsa Tulsa stuff, but
that was a hell of a game they had against Tulsa.
It's TOP, man. You got to keep the ball out of the ring. You got to keep the ball out of those guys' hands. They can't throw the ball 40 times, if they can't run that many plays. So that's why I'm a firm believer, man. If we just run the ball and take their heart out of their defense early, I think we'll, get up 14-0, and cruise to the win. Maybe they get the score late, get a field goal, and do it like that,
Yeah. I believe in Julius because he's down south, so he knows how it is down there. Mm-hmm. And if he says that we're going to pull it off, I think we will.
Yeah, they got some good. They got good players, man. I'm really cool with their O-line coach.
I figured you knew their coaching staff. Yeah.
Man. So like they're great guys. The O-line coach played at UAB. He was a great player. Played in the league. So he's going to have those guys coached. They're going to be ready, but I just think we're just going to be better.
Love to hear it. So for Coach Schuman and Julius Williams trenches, UConn legend, defensive mastermind, fantastic pass rusher, former professional football player. We are all picking UConn, and I can't wait to see what happens. Coach Schuman, I've gotten to see you every day this week. I just want you to know that it's made my day. And I know it gives you more questions than answers about me, but sorry. But so another phenomenal episode of Husky Huddle. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them back at life.